Hi guys. Today we're going to be focusing on solving exponential equations that cannot be solved by finding a common base. So we'll need to use logarithms, which is what we've been practicing for the past couple days. Here is our first example. This wants to know what exponent should I put on a 3 to change it into a 5. Now remember, this is raising it to a power, but this is kind of weird, right? Because 3 to the first is 3. 3 squared is 9, but that skips completely over 5. So we can't get a common base. We can't rewrite 5 as 3 to a power, right? We can't rewrite 3 as 5 to a power. So we can't get the same base. And so when that happens, then you want to take this problem and you want to rewrite it in logarithmic form. Remember, we do the wheel for that. So in our head, we say log base 3 of 5 equals x. Log base 3 of 5 equals x. Now this has been solved for x. The x is all by itself. So we just got to figure out what is log base 3 of 5? We learned yesterday that we want to rewrite this in calculator ready form, which would be rewriting it with a log base 10. So we used our change of base formula. And from yesterday, we learned our change of base formula. We'll rewrite this as a fraction, the log of 5 divided by the log of 3. And again, this is called calculator ready form. On your quiz and your test, there will be an answer line where you have to write calculator ready form. So make sure you're practicing that. And then once you have it in calculator ready form, then you can actually type it into your calculator to get your final answer. And we practiced that in yesterday's video. So if you need a refresher, go back and rewatch yesterday's video to see how to type this into a calculator. As stated yesterday, we will be rounding everything in this chapter to 3 numbers after the decimal point. That is the nearest thousandths. So just get into the practice of always rounding to 3 numbers. And then this is my final answer, my solution. Now that's an estimate because we did have to round. If we want an exact answer, we would use the fraction answer. So this was a pretty basic problem. Maybe you already could have figured this out based on yesterday's video. So now we're gonna up the stakes a little bit, make it a little bit more difficult. All right, so here again, I have an exponential equation, 15 to the power of 3x equals 285. And I am not able to rewrite 285 as 15 to a power. And so I'm going to have to use logs for this problem. So I'm going to rewrite this in logarithmic form, and it's the log base 15 of 285 equals 3x. So make sure that you keep your exponent all together. Log base 15 of 285 equals 3x. And then once you get it in this format, you want to use your change of base formula so that you can have it written as calculator ready form. So it's log of 285 divided by the log of 15. Now this is not calculator ready form yet. And the reason why it's not calculator ready form is that I haven't actually solved for x yet. The x is not by itself. To solve for x, I need to get rid of that 3 that's right next to it. Now, a number right next to a variable is being multiplied. And so to do the opposite of multiplying, I'm going to divide. When I divide, my 3 ends up on the bottom of a fraction. Now, when I go to the other side, I'm not going to make another big fraction bar and put a 3 underneath. Look at how weird that looks, guys. No, that's not how it works. Okay. So instead, what I'm going to do, since when you're dividing, it goes onto the bottom of a fraction, I'm just going to put it on the bottom of the fraction with the log 15 that's already there. Now you want to put it in front of the log 15. It's technically being multiplied with the log 15. And you're just going to leave it there. So you're not going to, it doesn't get multiplied with the 15. The 15 is attached to the word log, and the 15 cannot change. So you're just going to leave the 3 in front of the log 15. And now that I have the x all by itself, there's no other numbers. This says x equals. This is now my calculator ready form. When you're typing this in your calculator, there's 2 different ways that you can do it. If you're going to type it in fully like it looks like right here, what you would need to do is before you start typing in the denominator, you'll need to open up some parentheses. So when I'm typing this on my calculator, I'm going to hit log 285, close the parentheses, divided by, and now when I'm going to do the denominator, I need to open a parentheses right here, and I will close them at the end. And that just makes sure that when we're dividing, we're telling the calculator, hey, divide by this whole thing. Don't just divide by the 3, divide by everything. So after my division sign, I'm putting another parentheses, and then I'm going to do 3 log of 15. Now, technically right now I have 2 open parentheses. I have an open parentheses in front of the 3 and another one in front of the 15. So if you want to, you can close both of them. So put 2 closed parentheses afterwards. All right. And then hit equals. So, and then we're rounding to 3 numbers. So I got 0.696. So that's one way to do it. If you're going to type it all in the calculator ready form, then you want to put parentheses around the denominator. Now, a different way to do it, and maybe even like an easier way to do it, would be to start typing in right here when you get this fraction, the change of base fraction. So we can type in log of 285, close the parentheses, divided by the log of 15 equals. Okay, so I got this, and that's from here. And then I did another step. I divided that by 3. So then I'm just going to leave this on my calculator and I can hit divided by 3 equals, and then I can get the same answer. So you could also do this as a 2-step calculator problem where you type in the change of base fraction first, and then we did another second step of dividing by 3. So then you divide by 3, and then that will get you the final answer. So a couple different ways that you can do this, but make sure really that you guys are practicing with your calculator, because if you don't know how to use your calculator, you're going to get that decimal part wrong. So we want to make sure you get the decimal part correct. All right, guys, one more example, and then we'll be done for today. So in this problem, again, we're bumping up the stakes a little bit, making it a little bit more difficult. One thing that I'm noticing right now is that, it's not a base to a power equals a number. I've got some extra stuff happening, and I really do need it to be an exponential form, which is just base to a power equals a number. And so I need to get my base to a power all by itself. And that means I need to get rid of the 7. So I'm going to subtract 7. And I also need to get rid of that negative sign. It's not a good thing. So I'm going to divide by -1. Okay, so now this is more similar to what we are used to doing in this class, right? So base to a power equals a number. And so now that I have this, and again, I can't write 5 as 3 to a power. I can't write 3 as 5 to a power. So I'm going to do my logarithmic form. So this one is log base 5 of 3 equals that entire exponent, 2x minus 1. Next, I do change of base. So that'll change this side into a log of 3 over a log of 5. Now, right here, if you want to start typing things into your calculator, you totally can. Okay, so you can start typing things in while you're still doing the math on your paper. So we can type in log of 3, close parentheses, divided by log of 5 equals. So right now I have 0.6826 and so on and so on and so on. Now I do not have calculator ready form yet because my x is not by itself. So the next step of math that I would do on this problem is I would add the 1 to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to add a 1. I'm going to add it at the end of the fraction. And then when I add my 1 on my paper, let's do that on the calculator also. So we're leaving the decimal on the calculator. Plus 1 equals. So now I have 1.6826 and so on and so on and so on. And then the last thing I need to do to get this in calculator ready form, I gotta divide by 2. You can divide the entire thing by 2 and write a huge, ginormous, crazy, crazy, crazy fraction. Or you can just divide each individual part by 2. So you're going to put a 2 below this fraction bar, and then you'll put a 2 underneath that 1. That looks a little bit nicer. Now, technically what we did was we took this whole thing and we divided it by 2. So let's do it on our calculator. Divided by 2 equals, Okay, so now I have my calculator ready form. That's this one, and I know it's the calculator ready form because my x is all by itself. And because I've been doing my calculator the whole time, I also have my decimal answer. So for my decimal answer, I got 0.841 if I round to 3 numbers, and that is my solution. So you can do your calculator while you're doing your work by hand. Just don't write the decimals on your paper. Keep it crazy on your paper until you have the x by itself, and then only write the decimal at the very end. This concludes today's only video.